Marilyn Monroe, a name synonymous with glamour, beauty, and tragedy, remains one of the most iconic figures in Hollywood history. Born as Norma Jean Mortensen, she rose from a troubled childhood in foster care to become the epitome of fame in the 1950s. Her stunning looks and captivating on-screen presence made her a beloved star, captivating audiences worldwide. However, behind the dazzling smile and the seductive roles lay a woman who struggled with personal demons, mental health issues, and the harsh realities of fame. Monroe's life was a paradox, a star adored by millions, yet one who longed for love, stability, and self-identity. This is the story of Marilyn Monroe's rise to superstardom, the complexities of her personal life, and the eventual fall that still intrigues and mystifies generations today. Let's delve deeper into the woman behind the glamorous image and explore the darkness that haunted her. Norma Jean Mortensen. Born as Norma Jean Mortensen on June 1, 1926, in Los Angeles, California, Marilyn Monroe's early life was far from glamorous. Raised in foster care and facing neglect, Norma Jean's childhood was marked by instability. Her mother, Gladys Pearl Baker, was mentally ill, and Norma Jean never knew her father. By the age of 7, she was placed in her first foster home, which started a long cycle of orphanages and uncertain living conditions. At 16, Norma Jean married her first husband, James Dougherty, to escape her difficult life. This marriage ended in 1946, paving the way for her eventual entry into modeling and acting. As a model, she adopted the name Marilyn Monroe, and by 1953, she signed a major contract with 20th Century Fox, quickly becoming one of the most recognized faces in Hollywood. But beneath her captivating beauty, Norma Jean struggled to find her true self, a journey that would lead to both fame and tragedy. The rise of Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe's rise to stardom began in the early 1950s. After changing her name from Norma Jean Mortensen to Marilyn Monroe, she quickly gained attention for her beauty and charm. Her big break came in 1953 when she signed a contract with 20th Century Fox, a deal that launched her into the spotlight. Her iconic roles in films like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, 1953, and The 7-Year Itch, 1955, cemented her place as a sex symbol and one of Hollywood's most adored actresses. Monroe's platinum blonde hair, sultry voice, and seductive on-screen presence captivated audiences. She became a symbol of femininity and beauty, admired by millions. However, behind the glitz and glamour, Monroe was struggling with self-doubt, feeling misunderstood by the public and the industry. Despite her professional success, the personal battle she faced would soon begin to overshadow her career, leading her down a turbulent path. Behind the glamour. Despite Marilyn Monroe's glamorous image, her life was marked by deep emotional struggles. The pressures of Hollywood fame, combined with her troubled childhood, began to take a toll on her mental health. She often battled anxiety, depression, and feelings of insecurity. Her relationships, both personal and professional, were often strained, and Monroe struggled to find stability in a world that constantly demanded perfection. Her intense fear of being abandoned, stemming from her childhood experiences, led to emotional instability. Monroe frequently sought therapy to cope with her inner turmoil, but her mental health issues were exacerbated by the pressures of being a public figure. She was often seen as fragile, both on and off screen. Despite her vulnerability, Monroe continued to put on a brave face for the public, hiding her struggles behind her iconic smile and dazzling image. But as her personal pain deepened, it began to affect her career and personal life in increasingly tragic ways. Famous marriages. Marilyn Monroe's personal life was as tumultuous as her career, particularly her high-profile marriages. Her first marriage, to James Dougherty in 1942, was short-lived in 1926 when she sought independence and a career in Hollywood. Her second marriage to baseball legend Joe DiMaggio in 1954 seemed like a fairy tale, but it quickly turned sour. Their relationship was marked by Monroe's public struggles and DiMaggio's possessiveness, ultimately leading to their divorce after just 9 months. Despite the briefness of their marriage, DiMaggio remained deeply protective of Monroe and even arranged for flowers to be sent to her grave every week after her death. In 1956, Monroe married acclaimed playwright Arthur Miller, hoping for a more stable and intellectual relationship. However, her marriage to Miller was also marred by difficulties. The pressure of fame, Monroe's mental health struggles, and the strain of Miller's demanding career eventually led to their separation in 1961. Monroe's tumultuous relationships reflected her search for love and security, but each marriage ended in heartbreak, leaving her more isolated than ever before. The hidden Marilyn. While Marilyn Monroe's public image embodied the ultimate Hollywood icon, sexy, glamorous, and carefree, her private life was far from perfect. The contrast between the two sides of her persona was stark. On the surface, she was the embodiment of beauty and joy, captivating millions with her smile, charm, and presence. Yet, behind closed doors, Monroe was often lonely, battling deep insecurities and feelings of isolation. She was haunted by a constant fear of rejection and inadequacy, a direct result of her unstable childhood and multiple failed relationships. Monroe's image as a sex symbol was, in many ways, a mask she wore to cover up her vulnerabilities. She was often treated as an object of desire rather than as a complex individual, which left her feeling misunderstood. Despite her fame, she yearned for genuine connections and acceptance. Her struggles with mental health, addiction, and the constant pressure to conform to Hollywood standards were rarely seen by the public, adding to the tragic complexity of her life. Monroe's life, though filled with fame and fortune, was a testament to the emotional and psychological toll that living under the spotlight can take. The dark side of fame. As Marilyn Monroe's fame continued to grow, so did her personal struggles. Behind her public image, she began battling substance abuse, relying on prescription drugs to cope with the overwhelming pressures of her career and personal life. Her addictions to barbiturates and alcohol worsened, leading to frequent hospitalizations and a significant decline in her physical and mental health. Her isolation deepened as she distanced herself from friends and colleagues, feeling disconnected from the world around her. Despite her fame, Monroe was often alone, trapped in a cycle of dependence and emotional pain. Her addiction fueled her sense of hopelessness, and she found it increasingly difficult to manage the expectations of Hollywood while trying to maintain her mental and emotional well-being. The pressures of constantly being in the public eye, combined with her struggles with self-esteem and substance abuse, led her to withdraw from others. By the early 1960s, Monroe's health was rapidly deteriorating, and she became more isolated, unable to escape the darkness that overshadowed her life. The combination of addiction and isolation left Monroe vulnerable, and it was during this period that the tragic events leading to her death unfolded. The mystery of Marilyn Monroe's end. On the night of August 4, 1962, the world was rocked by the untimely death of Marilyn Monroe at the age of 36. Found in her Los Angeles home, Monroe's death was officially ruled as a probable suicide due to a drug overdose. However, the circumstances surrounding her passing have remained shrouded in mystery and speculation. Monroe's sudden death raised countless questions, fueling theories ranging from accidental overdose to the possibility of foul play, with conspiracy theories surrounding her connections to powerful figures, including the Kennedy family. Monroe's passing was deeply tragic, marking the end of a life that had been filled with both dazzling highs and heartbreaking lows. Her death left an indelible mark on Hollywood as fans and fellow celebrities mourned the loss of one of the greatest stars to ever grace the silver screen. Yet, even in death, Monroe remained a figure of fascination, her story serving as a reminder of the toll that fame, addiction, and mental health struggles can take on an individual. To this day, Marilyn Monroe's death remains one of the most debated and mysterious events in Hollywood history, adding to the legend of the woman behind the glamour. Marilyn Monroe's life, filled with glamour, struggles, and tragedy, continues to captivate and inspire, leaving behind an enduring legacy in Hollywood and beyond.